One thing we learned from the Pixar movie Inside Out is that it is okay to be sad. So today we're going to be looking at our favorite Disney and Pixar films that make us cry. Come with me on this magical journey. Welcome to Loren's Adventures Out There. If you haven't been here before, my name is Loren, and I'm with Castle, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. So as I mentioned before, we're going to talk about movies that make us cry. I just love movies that make us cry. Whenever a Pixar movie or a Disney Pixar makes me cry, I know that it was a good movie. I kind of decided to do this topic because I was watching something, and at one moment they had one sad scene, and I literally started bawling hysterically. Then another one, and I was like crying the entire time. And I didn't watch the whole movie. It was like just one scene, and that is the magic of storytelling sometimes, that you can just do one thing and make somebody turn into a puddle of tears. So we're going to investigate that a little bit in today's video. And so hang on and let's go. I'm not doing this in any particular order. I just kind of write down things as they come to me. So we're just going to go down my list one by one. At the top of my list, obviously, is Up. It's my favorite film, my favorite Pixar film, one of my favorite films of all time. And it's just this great movie that in the first 10 minutes, they tell an entire love story. And it's amazing. From the beginning to the end, like when they are children to when, one of them passes away. It's a very happy and tragic story at the same time. But this is one of the moments that I saw that made me cry in this video that I was watching. But there was one small moment where Carl kisses Ellie start crying on the forehead, and then it transitions into him at the funeral parlor, and it's just, what happened. It's just so sad, so tragic, but part of the circle of life, which is what that whole scene was about. And you would of course love them to live on forever, but we all know that is not going to happen. But we just wanted to hang on to Ellie a little bit more than the first 10 minutes of the film. But she is obviously, I'm crying, God. She is, she drives the whole film on, so her spirit is in that film. Anyway, that is my first scene. Am I going to make this through this entire video without, being in a fetal position in the corner? We'll find out. So the next movie that comes to mind is Inside Out, which is another one of my favorite Pixar films. There are two scenes in particular that just make me cry. The first film, and I think that you all will know what I'm talking about, but it's when Bing Bong sacrifices himself so that Joy can escape the memory dump. And all you see as Joy watches him fade away, he says, "Take her to the moon for me." Oh my God. That scene, I think, has been credited for making the most grown men fall to their knees in tears. So it's just a beautiful scene, and it just tells you, you want to hang on to your childhood imaginary playmates, but there's a time to move on. And I think Bing Bong knew that, and just such a, oh my god, it's such a beautiful scene. I'm crying still. Oh my god. And then the second scene is at the end of the movie when Riley returns from running away, and this is the moment where Joy realizes that sadness has to take over the reins. This is the moment where we learn that it is okay to be sad. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful scene. And there's a moment where she's crying and she just lets out this sigh. Like, just knowing that these emotions are okay for her to have. It is okay for her to be sad. About her leaving Minnesota and all of these things. It's just such a beautiful moment, and again, makes me cry just thinking about it. And the third scene that they showed was from Coco, and this is when Miguel goes running to his Mama Coco, and starts playing her "Remember Me." And there's just a moment where all of a sudden her finger starts moving, and you just know she's starting to remember. And it just such a beautiful scene, and just such a great, he's singing "Remember Me," she's starting to remember, and it just brings her out of her, whatever catatonic state that she's in, and that's how you want to see your grandmother in her last days, where she's remembering and lucid and all of these things. So it's just a great moment where he brings her back into the light. When I first started thinking about Disney animated scenes specifically, not Pixar, the first one that jumped in my mind was Bambi, and I remember watching this as a little kid. When it's a scene when Bambi's mother dies, and he is like searching for her, and it's just snowy and dark, and his father just appears to him like all majestic, and tells him that his mother can't be with him anymore. Oh my God, just the thought of not having your mother. And for me, especially, I am a mama's boy. My mom is one of my best friends, and to lose her at that age would have been so tragic for me. So I'm not going to make it through this video without stop crying. But anyway, it was a powerful scene, and just hauntingly beautiful in its own way. Another scene from Disney that just makes me cry is in Moana, and it is the moment when Grandmother Tala implores Moana to go and return the heart of Te Fiti, and so Moana goes off, and as she's sailing away, she turns around, and you see the light in the hut just go out, and just this whoosh of wind from the hut down into the ocean, and all of a sudden you see this celestial looking ray come up and literally push Moana to guide her. Oh my God. It just is, I think about every time Grandma Tala appears on the screen in Moana, I just cry. My own grandmother was one of the greatest women that I knew, and I'd like to think that she's beside me in everything that I do. So, well done, Disney. And next up we have The Lion King, and I think you know what I'm going to be talking about. It's a scene where after the stampede, Mufasa falls to his death, and Simba goes to search for his father after the stampede, and sees his dad on the ground, and he doesn't understand what's happening or what, and he tries to nudge his dad, and his dad isn't responding, and so he just goes and cuddles up with his dad, and it's so beautiful, such a beautiful scene. Um, and it's but it's brought on with tragedy when Scar convinces Simba that it was his fault, and just makes it even all the more sadder. Another scene from Disney that I remember just really making me cry. It actually still makes me cry. I don't know why I'm saying it used to make me cry. It does make me cry still. It's from Beauty and the Beast, and this is when at the end when Gaston stabs the Beast and he's about to pass away, and Belle finally tells him that he loves him, and all of a sudden you have all the whooshing, and the last petal of the rose falls, and just see all this whooshing, and boom, the Beast is human. But that moment where Belle tells him that he loves him, you just want to feel that, and it's such a beautiful moment. I loved it, and I still love it to this day. And now back on to Pixar. We are talking about Toy Story 3. There was a moment when all of the toys end up in the incinerator, and they're getting closer and closer and closer to the incinerator. And, there's not a lot that they can do. So they all just join hands as if, you know, together they had been together, and they're going to leave this earth together. uh just so powerful. I honestly, literally feared for their lives. I mean, the adult side of me said, okay, they're going to make it out of it, but in the moment, oh my god, such a powerful moment that, just the thought of, being, um, almost dying with your friends, and what would you do? All you can do is hold hands and hope for the best. And thankfully, those little green alien guys help them out of the predicament. But let's face it, the saddest moment from that film is the end when Andy gives his toys to Bonnie. And there is this beautiful moment where she like reaches out to get Woody, and Andy is kind of reticent for just a second. Like, he thinks about it because he's had so much history with this, one doll. And I just thought that it was such a, telling moment. As somebody who has grown up with toys, it's hard to let go. And this is not just a scene about letting go of your toys. It's about letting go in general. The whole Toy Story movie was about a child's life, really, and what happens when a child grows up. And the toys are actually the parents, if you think about it. What do you do when your child grows up? You have to let go. And I just thought that that was the most perfect ending for Toy Story 3, until they came out with Toy Story 4. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But good stuff. And on to Finding Nemo. There's a lot of moments in Finding Nemo, but the one that I chose for this particular video, Marlin is going to leave Dory, and Dory starts begging him, not to leave her because she is afraid of forgetting. And it was really kind of a scary and powerful scene, and really made me cry because I felt for Dory. Not that I've ever had a forgetting problem, but just the thought of being abandoned after making, like, this new friend that you particularly love. And it's just such a, it's just such a, I think the saddest moment from that film. And next we have Tangled. This is at the end of the scene where Flynn is dying. He had been stabbed by Mother Gothel, and Rapunzel is holding him in his arms. And, he says to her that he was his new dream. And this harkens back to a number that they had where they all were talking about their dreams, and he didn't really have a dream. Like, it was about being rich and things like that. And so, for him to open up his heart to Rapunzel was a really beautiful moment for him to make her his new dream. Just a great moment. I cry every time. And we go with a few more Disney films. WreckIt Ralph. Oh my God, there is a moment in that film. So King Candy, Ralph and Vanellope had built this great car, and they were ready to go and race it. And they get to this point where Vanellope goes running back into her home to get something, and King Candy comes and tells Ralph this false story about her being a glitch, and that if she were to leave the game, she would end up dying, or if she finished the game, she would end up dying. And Ralph did not want that. So when she comes back out, she, he tries to tell her that she can't race, and she just thinks that he's funny. And he just breaks the car. Like, he puts her up on this branch, and she's screaming. And I have to give it to Sarah Silverman for that really palpable performance. And she's, like, crying and trying to, get to Ralph before she destroys her car. And, the fact that what she was doing was getting a little badge that says that you're my hero. But in the end, she says that he really is a bad guy. And it's sad because, you really tried. And, he just felt like, he tried to do something to help her, but ended up betraying her. And then we go to Big Hero 6. In this movie, Hero's brother Tadashi dies in an accidental explosion. But as Hero puts together the clues, he realizes that there is a villain that ended up killing his brother. And he gets in this kind of myopic vision, wanting to seek revenge against this person, and literally changes who Baymax is as a healthcare provider, and turns him into this like attack machine. And all of his friends can't believe what he's doing. They know that it's not what Tadashi would want. And Baymax all of a sudden shows to Hero this footage of Tadashi, and you just see Tadashi watching it, and just realizing what a person that his brother was, and realizing that he's becoming something that his brother would not want him to be. And it's just this moment where, if you've ever lost anybody, to be able to see that kind of footage of them really pulls at your heartstrings. Then we go on to Fox and the Hound. You know, I'm not necessarily a big fan of this movie. I was when it first came out, but it's kind of gotten a little long in the tooth for me. But there is a scene in this movie that still makes me cry to this day. I watched this not too long ago and still made me cry. And that is when there's a moment where Widow Tweed has to bring Todd back to the forest. And oh my gosh, just the whole sequence with the song and the way that they animated Widow Tweed. And she, you know, she's this elderly woman that, you know, Todd brought her joy, and she's going to have to lose that joy. You know, it is another allegory to letting go of your loved ones, but still, such an incredibly powerful scene. And the last Disney film on my list is Dumbo. I'm just going to say, Baby Mine. That's it. That's it. If you don't cry during Baby Mine, you are a soulless human being. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so to finish off this list, I have two more Pixar films. The next one is Onward, and this is at the end of the film when Ian realizes that he will not be able to say goodbye to his father. You know, as much as he wants to, he's going to sacrifice his being able to see his father for his brother, who he realized was his father figure this entire time. And, you know, because he had to go fight the dragon and keep that off of Barley being able to say goodbye to his dad. And after Ian destroys the dragon, there is just a wall of metal and stone debris that keeps Ian from getting to where Barley and his dad are. And so he's peering through like a small hole in this debris. And, you know, it's just such a beautiful little moment in there as he watches his brother say goodbye to his father. And, you know, there's also a certain level of calmness in the scene, because you know that Ian realizes that Barley has been a father figure to him, and what his brother meant to him. So, such a great moment. And the final moment is from Toy Story 4, and this is at the very end of the film, when Woody and Buzz Lightyear both say to each other, to infinity and beyond. And, you know, it's such a great moment. Not only is it for kind of the end of this friendship, or not end of a friendship, I think that they both realize that it is okay to drift apart. You know what I mean? You know, I have friends I know that I was very, very close to, that on Facebook will still, you know, chat up a little bit. And that's okay. You know, it's okay for us to just have that moment with each other. And I think that those are the moments that, you know, Buzz and Woody realize that it is okay for them to let go of each other a little bit, and they'll be fine. And so, you know, whereas Toy Story 3 was an amazing ending, it's kind of a nice ending for Toy Story 4, where they are able to say goodbye to each other in a really emotional way. So that is it. What are the scenes that make you cry? I'm really curious. Please leave comments below and let me know what your favorite sad scenes are. And if you like the content of this program, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And do ring the bell for notifications. So that way you can find out when we post other content like this. You can always reach us on Twitter at CCC Disney Uni, on Instagram at Castles, Capes, and Clones. You can reach me personally on Instagram at Lojav, and on Instagram uh, at Loren Javier, and then visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you again so much for joining me. I'm sorry that I am in a puddle of tears right now. I'm going to go and lie down and hopefully revive from my malaise. Anyway, thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye, folks. Thank you.